Welcome back for the coronation of the king and the bride. Let's dig deeper. Here we are at Sweet Manna Ministries. The Fall Feast, Rosh Hashanah, Hamelech, the Coronation, Part 5. The Fall Feast, Part 5. Rosh Hashanah, Hamelech, the Coronation of the Messiah. The coronation of the Messiah, which in Hebrew is Hamelech, and it is another name for Rosh Hashanah. The Jews believed that the Messiah would be crowned king when the totally righteous were separated unto God. We see this as the rapture of the bride of Christ, and when Jesus will be crowned King of Kings. Daniel speaks of this. Daniel 7, 9-14. I watched till thrones were put in place, and the Ancient of Days was seated. His garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head was like pure wool. His throne was a fiery flame, its wheels a burning fire. A fiery stream issued and came forth from before him. 1,000 thousands ministered to him. 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him. The court was seated, and the books were opened. I watched. Then, because of the sound of the pompous words which the horn was speaking, I watched till the beast was slain, and its body destroyed, and given to the burning flame. As for the rest of the beasts, they had their dominion taken away, yet their lives were prolonged for a season and a time. I was watching, and in night visions, and behold, one like the Son of Man coming with the clouds of heaven. He came to the Ancient of Days, and they brought him near before him. Then to him was given dominion and glory and a kingdom, that all peoples, nations, languages should serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion. Typically, in Israel, the kings were crowned on this day. From Adam on, it was recognized that God was the king of the world. It is on Rosh Hashanah that the Jews honor God for his kingship, and because the sound of the shofar is heard at the coronation of kings, the sound of the shofar on the Feast of Trumpet reminds everyone that God is the king of the universe. The sound also reminds them that they are looking to the day when Messiah will come and rule the nations and judge the wicked. One of the reasons that the Messiah was missed in his first coming was because he came as a suffering servant and not the king that they had expected. Jesus came the first time as suffering servant and prophet. He was resurrected priest and will return as King of Kings. When a king was enthroned in Israel, there was a certain ceremony that was associated with the exalted position. First, there was a declaration of a decree. Then the king receives a rod and a scepter. The ceremony continues as the king takes the throne and sits there in authority. Then the subjects of the king make their acclamation by clapping and shouting, "Long live the king!" Then each subject stands before the king at his throne and pledges their allegiance to him. The king then commissions each individual as to what their job will be in his kingdom. This is the same pattern that we see throughout the scriptures concerning the Lord and King and his kingdom. I've included just a few scriptures to show you the same pattern. God our Father has declared and decreed that his Son is King. And And there are many scriptures here that we could go over. I'm going to leave the link in the video so that you can come back and read through all of these scriptures that are talking about Christ being king, and also the coronation. Yeshua's coronation is expected to take place on Rosh Hashanah. I believe that we will meet Jesus in the air, and the wedding and coronation of Messiah will take place in heaven on some year during Rosh Hashanah. Rosh Hashanah is also known as the wedding of the Messiah. Therefore, the feast day speaks of the rapture, the wedding, and the coronation all occurring on the same day. Remember, though this is known as one long day, it's a 48-hour period. So it will be a very exciting one long day. John gives us a glimpse of the scene in heaven, which leaves us no doubt about the coronation taking place in heaven, with the people of God that will be caught up in the air to be with him for a time before returning to the earth. And we can read that in Revelation chapter 5. So I'll let you go back and read Revelation chapter 5 to read all about that subject. We can see from this scripture that the throne is surrounded by thousands upon thousands bowing in worship to the King of Kings, because they have been redeemed by his blood, and have been appointed to rule and reign with him upon the earth. The earlier scripture in Daniel also speaks of thousands upon thousands. Although it is clear that this scene is in heaven, that this scene is in heaven, earth will be the place that they will return to in order to rule and reign with Yeshua for the 1,000 years that is prophesied about in the following scripture. And we read that in Revelation 20:4 and 6. And I'm going to cut it off here and come back for part 2.